Hello, my name is Nuzul Ramdhani. I'm from Blemba 73B. For this presentation, I will talk about the green shift Indonesia macroeconomic future. We are talking about green job and economic transition. For this presentation, I have like a six agenda. For the first one is definition about green job and economic transition. And the second one is challenges, our issue that Indonesia is facing right now, start from food security and food inflation, energy transition and subsidies, industrial downstreaming, infrastructure financing, fiscal deficit and public debt, and then capital flow and exchange rate volatility. For the third one is macroeconomic affected for the GDP, gross domestic product, then inflation and employment, also export and investment. The fourth agenda is green job and economic transition. We're talking about Keynesian and classical theory, Golden Indonesia 2045, green job contribution, and multiplier effect. For the number five is regulation and policy framework. We'll talk about fiscal policy, monetary policy, green transition scenario, and for the last one is policy solution. We're talking about fiscal policy recommendation and monetary policy recommendation. For the first challenges, we'll talk about food security and food inflation. For the food security, Indonesia has threatened by climate change, problem with the supply chains, and a reliance on the import for the basic food like wheat and soybean are making a food price go up in Indonesia, and also being vulnerable to global commodity price that shock all the threatened food security. And for the food inflation, can lower people buying power, which lead to the less spending by a household. It means that this hurt GDP growth. Food inflation can directly slow down economic growth. For the impact to the GDP, decreased household consumption mean lower to the consumption or C in the GDP. For the second challenges, we'll talk about energy transition and subsidies. Indonesia spend billions of dollars each year on the fuel subsidies, which make it harder to invest in the clean energy infrastructure. Fossil fuel subsidies mess up the energy market, hurt the budget, and make it harder for people to switch to the renewable energy. Using fossil fuel make GDP grow vulnerable to change in the oil price and the coal around the world. Big fuel subsidies make it harder for the government to spend money on the thing that will help in the economic growth. Subsidies keep price low for the short time, but they also make it market less stable. Prices are more stable in the long run with the renewable energy, which make inflation easier to deal with. The energy transition and subsidies issue has a big effect on the economy as a whole because energy is an important part of the almost every sector. For the next challenges is about industrial downstreaming. Indonesia is pushing industrial downstreaming, in particular in processing nickel for the battery vehicle electricity. Although matter, this can create field work and potential export. But the concern is no friendly environment as well as need input energy sustainable to avoid brown industry. Brown industry means that term that used for describe industry using fossil fuel that produce emission carbon high. Impact to the GDP is GDP ground vulnerable to the change of the oil price. Another challenges in Indonesia facing right now, we have like infrastructure financing, just because Indonesia has like a very limited fiscal allocation for this infrastructure, because we have like another priority allocation, such as like fuel subsidized or for common food. So right now, our infrastructure financing is depend on the foreign investment. Next challenges, we're talking about fiscal deficit and public debt. For the fiscal deficit, government spend a lot of subsidies that make our fiscal deficit is wider. And also for the public debt, the government need to keep debt to the GDP ratio is below the safe level. That's make the government ability is less to finance development. It means that our GDP economic growth is become slow. For the next challenges is about capital flow and exchange rate volatility. For the capital flow, when the capital inflow are smooth, we have like a sustained stability. However, when a reversal or we call capital outflow happen, its impact direct to the rupiah exchange rate, inflation, and the growth. For exchange rate volatility, weak rupiah make more expensive payoff foreign debt, cheap export, and higher import costs. So the impact to the GDP when we have like a capital inflow, it mean our investment or I will become increased. But if we have like a reversal, will decreasing our investment I on the GDP. For this slide, we can see the comparison of a capital inflow and capital outflow for all aspect microeconomic, start from rupiah exchange rate until investor confidence. We can see like the difference of capital inflow, the effect to the our aspect macroeconomic. Like first for the rupiah exchange rate, rupiah will become strengthened because the entry foreign exchange. But when the capital inflow reverse or outflow, rupiah become weak just because investors are leaving. And then for the inflation when inflow becomes stable, price import under control. But when outflow, the inflation will go higher, and then price import more expensive to do depreciation. For BI interest rate, when inflow could be more low and support investment. When outflow tend to rise for withhold current go out. For the capital market, when inflow, uh, IHSG rises, but for the outflow, IHSG will fall. And then for the GDP growth, when capital inflow supported by foreign investment and a portfolio enter. When outflow, weakening because the finance investment reduce. For aspect foreign exchange reverse, inflow will increase, strengthens stability external. I mean, for the outflow will reduce pricing ability by intervention, and for the investor confidence when inflow will become high and then attractive investor. But when capital inflow reverse, the investor will decreasing their confidence. And then for the third topic, we're talking about microeconomic component affected. For the first component, we'll talk about GDP or gross domestic product. In macroeconomic, GDP or gross domestic product is the total value of all the good and service product in the country over the certain period of time, usually a year or a quarter. GDP is a measure of the size of an economy and is often used as a sign of its main growth. Like a GDP formula, we can see from this slide is sum of C for the consumption, I for the investment, G for the government spending, X for the export, and M for the import. For the better understand about the GDP, and we'll talk about the function of the GDP. First, GDP can measure economic growth. If GDP rise, then the economic growth also increasing. And then the second function is evaluate welfare. GDP per capita used as a standard proxy life. And for the third one is a become-based policy for the fiscal and monetary, like in Indonesia is BI and Ministry of Finance, to see the GDP trend for determine interest rate, spending, and taxes. And then for the last one is the attract investor. So the investor can interest to invest in Indonesia. The impact on GDP related on the challenges. First, food inflation depress household consumption or C. And the second one is large fuel subsidies burden government spending or G, reducing fiscal space for the productive investment like infrastructure, financial. And for the next one is downstreaming nickel, increasing value added export or X, increasing the industrial sector contribution to the GDP. However, if based on the fossil fuel, the environmental costs can depress the welfare. And the next one is green infrastructure or public transportation like a smart grid can increasing the investment and long-term productivity, but lack of financing can restrain the GDP growth. Large fiscal deficit can depress future government spending or G due to the debt burden. If the spending is direct to the unproductive sector, the contribution to the GDP is low. And for the capital outflow can weak the rupiah value, suppress the export, and increase import costs. The exchange rate volatility can reduce the foreign investment. For next macroeconomic component affected, we will talk about inflation. Inflation is a continuous increase in the price of goods and service over a period of time, and Indonesia inflation target for 2026 is around 2.5% plus minus 1. As we can see, the impact of inflation on the macroeconomic. First, impact to the food security and food inflation. The direct impact of food inflation can depress household consumption or C due to decrease the purchasing power. The implication to the GDP could stagnate because consumption is the larger component of the GDP. For the energy transition and subsidies, the impact of inflation on the fossil fuel price, fuel subsidies temporarily can hold the price down, but impose the fiscal burden. The implication, inflation can increase the production costs and depress the investment. For the industrial downstreaming, the impact of the inflation on the fluctuating global nickel and battery price will affect export and EV production costs. The implication, inflation in the industrial input could depress export competitiveness. For the infrastructure finance, the impact of the inflation on the built material like cement or steel increase project costs, but the implication, infrastructure investment or I, could be delayed and reduce the multiplier effect on the GDP. For fiscal deficit and public debt, the impact of inflation can increase the government spending or G on the subsidies and social compensation. The implication is the fiscal deficit will become wider and the public debt will rises. For the capital flow and exchange rate volatility, the impact of high inflation can reduce investor confidence and create capital outflow, and will make our rupiah weak. The implication: exchange rate depreciation increase import inflation, creating a inflationary cycle. And for the conclusion, this inflation is the common thread for all the connecting issue related to the food, energy, industry, infrastructure, fiscal policy, and capital flow. Is impact consistent to the GDP, like depressing C, I, G, X, and also M. For another macroeconomic component affected is about employment. The employment impact in macroeconomic refer to how change in economic condition, such as inflation, oil price, fiscal or monetary policy, or the green transition, affected the employment rates, unemployment, and job quality in the country. For the main issue, for the food security and food inflation, the impact: food inflation depressed purchase power, leading to a decline in the public consumption and weakening the agribusiness sector. It means they increasing the risk of layoff in agricultural and distribution sector. And for the energy transition and subsidies, Indonesia heavy dependence on the fossil fuel that create unsustainable job, while fuel subsidies is stiff innovative the thinking to shift sustainable energy as a replacement. For the industrial downstream, the impact of nickel downstreaming will create job in the smelter and EV manufacture, but risky if it's based on the fossil fuel, just because not environment friendly. For the infrastructure finance, the impact of the building material inflation put pressure on the infrastructure project and delay the construction work, resulting in slower economic growth. For the fiscal deficit and public debt, the impact of the fiscal deficit will limit the government spending and reducing labor intensive project, meaning fewer jobs. For the capital flow and exchange rate volatility, the impact of a capital outflow will make a rupiah weak and increasing import costs, and a company will reduce the production, and the risk of a job cut will be increasing. For the next macroeconomic component affected is export and investment. Export and investment impact on the macroeconomic are two variable important things that can influence GDP growth, stability fiscal, and balance external in the country. As we can see in the table, we have like a main issue, start from food security and food inflation until capital flow, also impact of the export and investment impact for that issue. First, for the food security and inflation, for impact of the export, food inflation can lower power competition, export product agriculture because the price is high. For investment impact, investment in the agri-tech, cold storage, and logistic food can increase the productivity. And for the energy transition and subsidies, for the export impact, depends on the import energy fossil, can pressing balance sheet trade. And for the investment impact, the investment energy renewable, such as solar, wind, and geothermal, can strengthen capacity domestic. also reducing import and open opportunity export technology green. For industrial downstreaming, export impact downstreaming can increase nickel price and also a large contribution to GDP. For the investment impact, FDI in smelter and EV manufacturing can strengthen the industrial base but must direct to the energy green to be sustainable. For the infrastructure finance, the export impact, weak infrastructure logistic can lower power competition export. And the investment impact, infrastructure green on the transportation, public, port friendly environment can improve efficiency export and attract long-term investor. For the fiscal deficit and public debt, the export impact deficit fiscal can pressing incentive export, while the public debt can limit the fiscal for support industry green. Investment impact, green bond and taxes carbon can interest investment green and strengthen the room of fiscal without increasing excessive the debt. For the capital flow and exchange rate volatility, export impact, volatility the rupiah exchange rate can affect the power competition export. Depreciation can increase export but pressing cost import material standard. The impact for investment, the capital outflow, decreasing investment foreign ESG based green finance is more stable and durable to volatility exchange rate. The conclusion, the export serve as an engine of growth but remain vulnerable to the food inflation, fossil energy dependence, and exchange rate volatility. Meanwhile, investment is a key to strengthen the green sector like agri-tech, renewable energy, electric vehicle, green infrastructure, which can help push inflation, reinforce fiscal stability, and maintain capital flow resilience. For agenda number 4 is talking about green job and economic transition. If you look at the macroeconomic situation right now, it's really affected by the surge in the global oil price. But we can reflect and learn from the history of macroeconomic theory, specifically the classical and Keynesian approach. The question is, which one is more suitable, classical or Keynesian? First, we need to know the difference and the characteristic. The Keynesian theory characteristic, by an active government role or intervention through the fiscal policy and monetary policy, this approach is suitable for the short-term stabilization to prevent growth from the falling too sharp or too deep. For the classical theory, rely on the market mechanism, flexible price and wage, and minimal government intervention. However, in Indonesia current context, the price is rigid, like fuel and electricity, and social sensitivity can make the classical approach risky, as it could trigger high inflation and social unrest. And this classical approach is good for the long-term efficiency because it encourage energy diversification and reduce subsidy over the time. Conclusion, the for Indonesia issue right now, Indonesia is better suited to combine both theory, just because Keynesian policy is good to absorb the shock of the rising oil price, and mitigate its impact on the macroeconomic component and structural. And then classical is good for the strengthen the foundation of the economic in the long run. In September 2024, Indonesia launched the Golden Indonesia 2045 vision, outlining 6 strategies for economic transformation. One of them is focused on a green economy. The green economy is grouped into the 5 clusters. First, energy and extractiveness, like oil and gas, mining, and renewable power generation sector. And then second one is manufacturing. Third one is connectivity, like telecommunication, land and sea transport, infrastructure, and construction sector. Four is renewable natural resource, like forestry, agriculture, land use activity, marine activity, and fish sector. And for number 5 is emerging natural capital market. A study conducted by Indonesia Natural Development Planning Agency, or we call Bappenas, indicate that transitioning to a green economy could bring multiple benefits for Indonesia, including average GDP growth of 6.1 until 6.5% per year until 2050, up to 68% reduction in emission intensity by 2045, before reaching net zero by 2060, the creation of a 1.8 million environmentally friendly jobs by 2030 across energy, electric vehicle, land restoration, and waste sector. And the last one is higher gross national income, or GNI, by 2045 of up to 25 until 34%, or equivalent to 13,860 USD until 14,975 per capita. As we can see from this table, the contribution of a green job for our main issue. First, in the food security and food inflation, the problem. Inflation food can pressing consumption product in low. The role of a green job and transition. Green job in agri-tech, smart farming, logistic food sustainable. The impact is stabilized price food, will keep consumption or see consumption strong, and GDP growth will become higher. For the energy transition and subsidize, the problem dependence on the fossil fuel. The role of the green job, new opportunity to work in energy renewable, EV, and smart grid. For the implication, reduce the import energy means to repair the balance sheet, like export minus import, pressing inflation energy, and strengthening the investment. Another issue is industrial downstreaming. The problem is downstream based fossil may cause a high risk in environment. The role of the green job in a smelter and best energy clean and battery recycling. The implication, the export worth increase means the strengthening the export, more FDI investment sustainable, and power increase the global competitiveness. For the infrastructure finance, the problem, inflation material building make the project become delay. The green job in construction green, transport public, and smart grid can open another job opportunity. The impact, big multiplier effect to the GDP, and investment will increase and employment work more quality. Another issue is fiscal deficit and public debt. The problem, the deficit will become wide. The consequence, subsidies and inflation will increase. The role of the green job, the green bond, taxes carbon, make room for fiscal. The implication, the government spending will increasing more to productive sector, and fix the debt control, and fiscal will more healthy. For capital flow and exchange rate volatility, the problem, outflow can weak the rupiah value, and import inflation will become higher. For the role of a green job, green finance and ESG investment can attract the long-term investor. The implication, more exchange rate stable can become attract to investor more invest in Indonesia. For this slide, we can see the contribution green job to GDP. For consumption aspect, the green job can increase purchasing power through the creation of the green job in energy, agroforestry, and low carbon manufacturing sector. For investment aspect, they will attract new investor in renewable energy, critical mineral, and the blue economy. For government spending aspect or G, impact from the green job, redirect fossil fuel, subsidize spending toward to green workforce training and green infrastructure. And for the export-import aspect, impact for the green job is boost export on the green product and reduce the fossil energy import. And another table is like effect for green job to the high oil price. High oil price to fuel can lead a rising inflation, but just because green job, renewable energy will help stabilize domestic energy price. And then expanding subsidies increase the fiscal deficit, and then role of the green job, subsidize efficiency create a healthier fiscal space, and declining purchasing power weak the consumption. Role of the green job economy, green job will generate the new income and restoring the consumption. For the rising oil and gas import can put a pressure on the rupiah, but just because this green job, the export of the green product will increase foreign resource. For this slide, we're talking about multiplier effect of the green job. Multiplier effect is a concept that explains how the initial change in the spending, for example, government expenditure, investment, or export, can generate a larger impact on the total output or GDP through the chain reaction in the economy. Multipliers mean the ratio between change in the GDP and the initial change in the spending. As we can see, the multiplier is equal 1 divided 1 minus MPC, marginal propensity to consume, is the tendency of a household to spend additional income. Like example, suppose the government increase spending by 100 trillion. If MPC 0.8, then multiplier is 5. So the total impact on the GDP is 100 times 5 means 500 trillion. For this slide, we can see the multiplier effect of a green job. First, to the GDP growth could increase by 0.5 to 1% point per year if green energy investment is scaled up. Implication to the inflation, more control due to stable energy price. Implication for the employment, green job grow rapidly, absorbing new worker. Implication to fiscal, the deficit narrowed as a fossil fuel subsidies decline, while carbon tax boosts revenue. For the external balance, energy import decreasing, green technology export rising, and automatically improve the current account. So the conclusion is the multiplier effect of green energy is far greater than fossil energy because it creates the quality of job, strengthen the consumption, investment, fiscal health, and export. With a green transition, Indonesia could achieve a GDP multiplier of 1.5 to 2 times from every renewable energy investment, while simultaneously improve the macroeconomic stability. This will accelerate Indonesia's path toward achieving its economic growth target in line with the Golden Indonesia 2045 vision. Topic number 5 is regulation and policy framework. Indonesia in 2026 target GDP growth is around 5.3 until 5.4%, with close coordination between fiscal policy and monetary policy to maintain stability amid global pressure, particularly in a surge in oil price due to Middle East conflict. First is fiscal policy or APBN in 2026. The budget deficit target at 2.68% of GDP to support development while protecting low-income households from economic shock. Fiscal priorities. First is food and energy and social protection for vulnerable groups, especially against rising energy price. And the last one is increased productive spending in infrastructure and education. For the monetary policy in 2026, coordination, regular joint meeting between BI and the Ministry of Finance to align fiscal and monetary policy as mandatory by the state finance law. Inflation target is around 2.5 with price stabilization through interest rate management and exchange rate intervention. The exchange rate assumption is 616,500 per USD. BI stance maintains financial system stability while supporting growth with projected economic growth of 4.7 until 5.5% or midpoint at 5.3%. And for this table, we can see our government policy and also current issue and macroeconomic impact and green solution and economic transition. For the first policy is government spending and subsidies. The issue is fossil energy subsidies can burden the state budget or APBN and will make the spending less productive. The macroeconomic impact, fiscal deficit widen, limited fiscal space. The solution for from the green, reallocate subsidies to renewable energy, public transport, and sustainable food program can largen the multiplier effect on the GDP. For tax incentive, the issue, narrow tax base, incentive bias toward the fossil or conventional manufacturing sector. The macroeconomic impact, the investment remain suboptimal, export like value added. Green solution, carbon tax holiday for the green investment such EV, agri-tech, and renewable. can make us strengthen the global competitiveness. For the Bank Indonesia policy, the issue is food and energy inflation can disrupt the inflation target, and rupiah exchange rate will become weak. The macroeconomic impact, the consumption or C will pressure capital outflow, reduce the investment. Green solution, BI and MOF coordination to secure the food or green energy supply, promote green finance and ESG inflow for the current stability. For role of institution, current issue policy fragmentation, is OE still dominant in the fossil sector? Macroeconomic impact, fiscal and monetary policy less synchronized and slow transition. For the green solution, MOF, carbon tax and green bond, BI, monetary stability and green finance, SOE, investment in renewable energy, agri-tech and green infrastructure. Conclusion, if Indonesia shift toward to the green job and green economic transition, then within the next 4 or 5 years, we could see the GDP growth rising above 6%, and inflation will keep under control, unemployment declining, healthier fiscal condition, and increased value added the export. The next slide is about policy solution. For a fiscal policy recommendation, first, reallocation of fossil energy subsidies. The issue fuel and coal-based electricity subsidies widen the fiscal deficit. The solution, redirect subsidies toward to renewable energy and public transportation. International example, Germany reduced fossil subsidies and expand feed in the tariff for green energy. The second one is carbon tax and green tax incentive. The issue, narrow tax base with incentive bias toward to conventional sector. The solution, implement a past carbon tax, provide tax holiday for green investment like EV, battery, and agri-tech. The international example, in a European Union introduced to the carbon border adjustment mechanism to encourage green export. The third one is green bond and green sukuk. The issue, limited fiscal space for the green infrastructure. The solution, expand the issue of green bond or sukuk to finance renewable energy and public transportation project. International example, China and India success to attract global investor through green bond. For the monetary policy recommendation in Bank Indonesia, first, green finance and ESG capital flow. BI should promote green financial instrument like a green lending and ESG bond to attract long-term investor. International example, Bank of England has incorporated climate risk into bank stress test. Second one is exchange rate stability and green inflation control. BI must coordinate with the government to secure food and green energy supply so that the structural inflation remain under control. International example, like South Korea integrated monetary policy with its energy transition program. For role of institution, Ministry of Finance design carbon tax, issue the green bonds, reallocate the subsidy. For Bank Indonesia, ensure monetary stable, promote green finance, and mitigate climate risk in the financial system. For a state-owned enterprise, or we call BUMN, act as a driver of the green transition through investment in renewable energy, agri-tech, and green infrastructure. Cross-institutional coordination, a green transition task force is needed to synchronize fiscal, monetary, and industrial policy. Conclusion is, with the combination of fiscal policy, like a green subsidized, carbon tax, green bond, and monetary policy, such as green finance, exchange rate stability, along with a coordinated effort between MOF, BI, and SOE. Indonesia can accelerate its green energy transition, also can create green job and strengthen the macroeconomic stability. And this is for a policy roadmap, green energy and economic transition roadmap from 2026 to 2030. First is a foundation phase we call stabilization policy, fossil subsidized carbon tax start, and then green finance and green transition task force target in 2026 inflation control and fiscal deficit below 2.5% GDP. And then the second stage is acceleration in 2028 until 2029. The policy is expand green bond, EV and battery incentive, and climate stress test like a central bank. Target in 2029, GDP grow to 6%, unemployment will become less than 4%. And the latest stage is consolidation in 2030. The policy is full carbon tax, green infrastructure, high value export. Target in 2030, GDP is 6.5% and inflation 3%, and current account surplus. That's all for this presentation. Thank you very much and have a good day.